The time is 5 a.m. and this is WKYT This Morning. It was a long day for deputies in Madison County after one of their own was shot and a suspect was killed. What we know about the Madison County shooting just ahead this morning.
It was an unexpected find for some people at Lexington Park. A dead body was found, and we have more on the investigation that followed coming up.
And we have an update on the pilot who disappeared on his way to Owensboro earlier this week. We'll have that and more ahead on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Chamberlain. Thanks so much for joining us.
I'm Bill Bryant. It's your Thursday, and we're starting to see the weekend in sight already.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah, for folks who had a short week. I know you worked Monday, but a lot of folks...
That seems like a long time ago.
Does it? Oh, I'm telling you.
I guess that means it's been a long week.
Yeah, and it was, and a long day yesterday with that situation over in Madison County. And so our thoughts remain with those involved. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris, who is tracking weather this morning, and it's getting a little interesting.
It is, absolutely, because what we're going to be seeing the next few days, showers and thunderstorms on the move, and we're already seeing some showers out there early this morning. When you see rain during the morning hours, you know that you have some kind of system, some kind of front that's going to be right beside you or over you. That means once you get into the heat of the day, you'll really see those spark up. So later on this afternoon, watch for some storms. We're in the 60s early this morning and almost 70 degrees already this morning. 82 by the afternoon. Those spotty storms are in the forecast. And then we head through the next few days. Rounds of storms are on the increase. That's our focus of the forecast. We have several events not going on just here in the Bluegrass region, but all across our 70-plus counties here in our viewing area that we cover. We're going to talk all about that and show you how you can plan around these storms coming up.
Thank you, Micah. In the news, it was a long day for Madison County deputies after a shooting that left one of their own injured and a suspect dead.
Police say Deputy Kevin Crutcher stopped Daniel Pig in his truck outside Pig's home for a traffic stop. When Pig got out of the truck, he pulled out a gun and shot Crutcher. WKYT's Mark Barber continues our team coverage of the shooting. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Michelle. Deputy Kevin Crutcher was shot once in the stomach. This morning, he is out of the hospital and recovering at home. State police say that the wounded deputy was able to return fire and kill the man, who they say shot him first. This morning, we are getting our first look at Daniel Pig, the 51-year-old man who was accused of shooting the 9-year veteran of the Madison County Sheriff's Office. Pig's brother-in-law tells WKYT that the man had been in trouble with the law before, but he did not think he would ever shoot a deputy. He says he was nearby when the deputy stopped Pig outside his home on Arthur Jackson Road. According to state police, Pig got out of his truck and started walking toward the deputy, shooting at him. Crutcher told him to stop, but when he wouldn't, the deputy pulled his gun.
I walked around the edge of the porch just to see, if he was alive, and which I didn't. But I could see the blood all over his shirt, and I just turned and went back around towards the house.
We've been speaking with neighbors, and they tell us that Pig had a rough past. We've been searching through criminal records online, and coming up on WKYT News at 5:30, we'll explain what we've learned about Pig's run-ins with the law. Live in Madison County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you very much. News out of the shooting left people around Madison County with an all too similar feeling. It comes just 7 months after Richmond City police officer Daniel Ellis was killed in the line of duty. Frankie Thomas has lived in Madison County for 28 years. He says many of his friends and family members work in law enforcement in the county.
You get a phone call, officer down, first thing you start freaking out. Who is it? Who is it?
The close call for Crutcher reopened the wounds caused by Officer Ellis's death that for many have not had time to heal at this point. Thankfully, Crutcher has been released from the hospital, as we've reported, and is now home with family recovering. The state police say that crews have now found the wreckage of a plane that disappeared in western Kentucky on Monday.
They say 70-year-old Robert Dizelle was flying from Grayson County to Owensboro in a small plane but never made it. WKYT's Caitlin Sintner is at our live desk this morning with more on the wreckage that was found. Caitlin.
Good morning, Michelle. It'll be a joint effort between Kentucky State Police and the FAA to investigate the crash later today. Wreckage of a missing plane flown by pilot Robert Dizelle, an Owensboro man, was found just yesterday afternoon near the Hancock-Breckinridge County line. It was a citizen-flown helicopter that first spotted a burned area and suspicious debris in western Kentucky that led police to a missing plane flown by a very experienced pilot. Emergency management didn't anticipate a long search, but the wreckage was so deep in the woods it took over 2 hours for ground crews to get to it. Although state police has found his plane, they won't confirm it was Dezel's body recovered. Friends who aided in the search say the doctor flew through the Falls of Rough often.
When I first started flying, he was in med school, and he come in all weekend and we fight over who got to fly the airplane. That's how far back we go.
Dezel was reported missing when he didn't meet another pilot for a scheduled dinner. Now the FAA, again along with Kentucky State Police, will be investigating the crash later today. At the live desk, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
Thank you, Caitlin. An investigation is underway after a body was found in a Lexington park. Police say someone at River Hill Park off Crosby Drive found a man's body in a wooded area. Police say it appears the man had been dead for a long period of time. At this point, police say it doesn't appear his death was caused by anything suspicious. He has not been identified yet, but police think he was around 70 years old. New this morning, investigators are looking into what caused an overnight fire that damaged a house in Jessamine County. It happened on Collins Drive just outside of Nicholasville. Firefighters say no one was hurt and the cause of the fire is still unknown, but lightning is a possibility as the storm was moving through the area at the time. The man accused of trying to kill 2 women in Knox County will appear before a judge today. Police arrested 38-year-old Brian Bunch after a double shooting Monday night. The 2 women who were shot were flown to the hospital in critical condition. Police did not release their names. Bunch is charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. Now, according to our news partners at the Herald Leader, he was jailed after a drug roundup last September.
A former Kentucky high school teacher is accused of raping 2 students. Investigators say Howard Faber used to be a junior ROTC teacher and a training instructor at Boyd County High School. Police say he raped 2 16-year-old girls that he met through his teaching job. Both say the girls were students at the high school. School leaders say Faber planned to resign this summer, but made it immediate in April when the investigation started. A man faces some charges for thefts at a Scott County cemetery. Georgetown police have charged 35-year-old David Harris with theft. They say he also had some outstanding warrants. According to the Georgetown News graphic, police say purses were stolen from 2 cars parked at the Georgetown cemetery over the Memorial Day weekend. Police say they later identified Harris as the suspect and arrested him on Tuesday. And they say they have not found the stolen purses.
The family of a boy who fell into a gorilla exhibit at the Cincinnati Zoo says they have no plans to file a lawsuit. A family representative also said the boy is continuing to heal and is doing okay. Zoo workers shot and killed a gorilla Saturday afternoon after the boy fell into the exhibit. Video shows the gorilla dragging the boy around in the water. Cincinnati police released the 911 call the boy's mother made during that time.
I need you to call.
What is the address?
I need you to call.
Cincinnati 911. What is the address?
Hi, my son fell in the zoo exhibit at the gorillas. The Cincinnati Zoo. My son fell in with the gorilla. There's a male gorilla standing over him. I need someone to contact the zoo, please.
Okay, we do already have them started. We do already have help started there, okay? How old is the child?
Be calm. Be calm. Be calm.
How old
Be
is
calm.
the girl?
He's dragging my son. I can't watch this.
Tough time for that mother. Be calm indeed. Cincinnati police say they plan to question the boy's parents about what happened at the zoo.
It's a difficult
tough to hear that, you know,
Yeah, it
just as a
really
mom,
is.
I can't imagine what she was thinking and feeling. And
the
it's a tough
dispatcher
time.
in that situation, you know, calmly getting help on the way, even as that emotional time was rolling. Our time this morning is 5:09, Thursday. Good to have you with us on WKYT.
A 3rd grader says it was an extraordinary miracle. Find out what prompted an entire school to sign a petition when we come back on WKYT This Morning.
We already have some showers out there early this morning, and when you see that, you know you have a front close by. I'm going to show you what you can expect this afternoon as it looks pretty soggy. I'll have that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Got a few showers out there early this morning. None of this very heavy rain. And what we're going to be looking at as we go through the day, heavy downpours. Now, you just got to wait toward the afternoon. A lot of this will start to fade here in just a few hours. Then we'll take a bit of a break. You're going to get breaks in the action. This isn't an all-day type of thing, but I would say afternoon is your best bet to actually see some of these storms roll on through. So right now, showers. Later on today, thunderstorms. We go up 127 through Owenton and also Peaks Mill there in northern portions of Franklin County. All that's heading northeast. So if you're sitting in Williamstown, across 75 and 25, just know here comes some showers on the way. And once they start for you guys in Williamstown, I would say they actually stick around for about 20 minutes. So it's going to take some time to actually get these showers on out. But next in line will be Falmouth. Heads up there as you work your way northbound and to Pendleton County. And then we work your way south, okay? So then there's a break kind of right there in the central zones. Southern half still looking at some showers. The heaviest downpour right now over 25 heading up toward Clay County as you work your way just south of the Daniel Boone Parkway, Hal Rogers Parkway that is, and it's heading your direction. So at that intersection, Manchester area, this shower should roll over you here in just about 20-30 minutes. And if it doesn't, it'll go just to the south of you. So anywhere around that central zone in Clay County heads up for a heavy downpour in about 30 minutes. 68 degrees right now in Lexington. That goes for Somerset, Monticello. A lot of us right there in the mid to upper 60s. Some spots actually showing up right around 70 degrees. So that's a good feel outside, but you just know that when you see that and you feel that, things are really starting to change in the forecast, and we're going to see rounds of thunderstorms as we head through your day today, especially that afternoon and off into the evening hours. Now, I will show you this. Yesterday, we talked about how this could be extended out to 11 and midnight last night for those thunderstorms. And at exactly 9:24, I remember this, waking up last night, those storms rolling through here in Lexington, is when we had those storms. I don't expect that for today. Not tonight, okay? So mainly during the daylight hours, that spotty thunderstorms there for that big yard sale, US 25 and 68 yard sale. Just heads up for some spotty storms today, especially in the afternoon. The best time to go would be midday, as there's only a small chance during that time. And Friday, 40% chance of rain, especially south of I-64. Saturday, more spotty storms in the forecast. So that looks like the better chances of rain are today and Saturday, as it looks like Sunday. That front tries to make its way through and bring us some cooler air. That's what we need, and that's what's coming. So there is some good news in the forecast.
Have y'all ever been to this yard sale?
Yes.
Just
actually.
how large is it?
I mean, it's not like you go, it's like you experience it. You just drive down the road and there it is.
One of them's like 400 miles long.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. It
I
goes
want to go check this out.
Find about everything, I'll tell you
right.
that, yeah. Micah, thank you so much. Our time is 5:15.
So when cheese omelets were cut from an elementary school's cafeteria menu, students in Maine were not happy, which led to one little girl hatching a plan.
Had an idea. The
Yes, she
third
did.
grader started a petition, and while it didn't reverse the decision, there's still a sunny side to this story. Layla Carreria's inspiration came from watching Zoe 101 on Teen Nick. She says the main character of the show started a petition, so she decided to make one too. What Layla did not expect is that the whole school turned out to sign it.
That made me feel amazing. It was just like a miracle.
School officials say they couldn't bring back eggs because they had to cut costs, but they were impressed with her efforts. And in a scramble, a parent organization paid for a special lunch. You guessed it, it was cheese omelets. So she made
Bill,
a
you
difference.
crack me up.
Yeah, right.
Good for her, though.
A young activist there. Good to have you along on WKYT 516 on your Thursday morning as the day's off and rolling. We're right here with all the latest, and we have a lot more to tell you about.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll have a look at your money.
Another recall related to faulty airbags, and Walmart brings back a familiar face. I'm Marley Hall, and I'll have those stories and more coming up in your CBS Money Watch report.
Hey, good morning to you. Welcome in to WKYT this morning. We're glad you're along with us today at 5:19. Another recall related to faulty airbags, and Walmart brings back a familiar face.
Marley Hall has the latest on your money.
Ford is recalling nearly 1.9 million more vehicles to replace faulty Takata airbags. It's part of a nationwide expansion of the largest U.S. recall in history. Stocks barely moved in afternoon trading Wednesday. The Dow gained 2 points. The Nasdaq added 4. A new Career Builder survey ranks the fastest growing industries over the next 5 years. The data shows electronic shopping will add the most jobs by 2021, with a projected 32% increase. Translation jobs were second. Rehabilitation services came in third. Walmart's yellow smiley face is making a comeback next week after a 10-year absence. The nation's largest retailer used the image to advertise low prices known as rollbacks. Walmart is bringing back the smiley face on TV, online, and in stores to tout its affordable prices. That's your Money Watch. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Marley Hall.
All right. Well, the smiley face is back.
Good news, right?
Yeah, right. 5:21 now. It is almost time for another Apple announcement.
The tech giant is planning to unveil some new changes on June 13th. Now, those changes could include new software upgrades and a new and improved Siri. But don't expect a new iPhone. Those announcements are usually separate. The company is hoping to revitalize after a rough year. Apple's revenue fell for the first time in 13 years, mostly due to a drop in iPhone sales.
Now, usually the phone announcements come about September, or so. So we'll see.
What else could they do, really?
Right.
I mean,
they do a lot these days. There's a lot of these little
I guess
phones,
they're wanting to make it smaller.
Yeah, right. 5:21 is our time on WKYT this morning. Great to have you along with us as we get this day off and rolling. More news coming right up.
Yeah, we have sports next.
For the first time in almost a decade, Kentucky looking for a new baseball coach today. We also have regional baseball action and softball championship games decided yesterday. I've got the highlights next.
Well, we are seeing some showers early this morning. Couple of these are heavy downpours, but for the most part, these are just light showers rolling across the region to the northern zones, to the south, and it looks like Danville, you're going to be next in line with this batch of rain if it sticks together here in about an hour and a half. But remember, we're actually starting off the Brass Band Festival later on today, and that kicks off today, goes through your weekend, so hopefully we can get at least some breaks here and there, as that's a big event there in Danville and Boyle County where a lot of people go to. 68 degrees there in Jackson, London, Corbin area coming in the 60s too. We get into your afternoon spotty thunderstorms in the forecast later on today. Let's check out sports, see what's going on.
Gary Henderson resigned yesterday as Kentucky's baseball coach, a move which surprised several of his former players. Henderson won 258 games in 8 years. During the 2012 season, UK was ranked #1 in the country, and he was also instrumental in developing A.J. Reed into the National Player of the Year in 2014. Destin Beggs and Dorian Harrison are thankful for the change and the chance that Henderson gave them.
Talked to him on the phone. I made sure to say something about that I was so thankful for the opportunity. I mean, coming out of high school, I didn't really have any offers, and coming out of junior college, they were few and far between. So them definitely giving me an opportunity, it meant a lot. Just having them, they were always having my back, and they were just great coaches for me personally.
He gave me a chance to play college baseball. He was the head coach at the University of Kentucky while I played Division I SEC baseball. I got to put on a uniform and play for the Cats.
They got the chance, and now UK goes through a change. Western Hills and Scott County 11th Region Championship. 2 on for Logan Etherington, but Sam Sutton gets one of his 11 strikeouts. Cardinals lead 1-0 in the second, but they add to it. Bryce Fryman grounds to second. The error scores Cooper Robb. It's 2-0 Scott County. Western Hills committing 5 errors last night, and they nearly led to all of Scott County's runs. Sutton's grounder misplayed. Fryman and Cam Hill score 4-0 Redbirds in the second. Western Hills had a lot of chances. Down 6-2 in the 7th. Hill in relief entices the double play to end it. Scott County's first baseball region title since 1999. Cards win it 6-2. In the 11th Region Softball Championship, defending champ Scott County, they've won it for a lot of years in a row, taking on Woodford County. Lady Cardinals scored twice in the first inning. Hannah Davis gaps one. Jesse Tucker scores. It's 2-0 in the third. 2 on for Princess Valencia. Great name. She'll single to score both runners. Valencia driving in 3 runs. Woodford County would bring the tying run to the plate in the 7th inning, but Kennedy Sullivan gets the strikeout to end it, and Scott County goes back to the state tournament. They win it. 4-1 is the final. That's a look at sports. Have a great day.